Hey everyone, welcome to Hedgie How To. And today, Bert and I, Craig, Bert's minion, will be talking to you today about holding and handling hedgehogs, bonding with hedgehogs, and quilling. So let's dive right in. First things first, if you are new to owning a hedgehog, or if you're new to holding a hedgehog, or if you have a hedgehog, it's a good practice to always wash your hands before you handle your hedgehog. Hedgehogs can get colds from humans. Hedgehogs can get other diseases with all this stuff going on now. Do yourself a favor, keep your hedgie safe, wash your hands first. Things to consider when you wash your hands though, you want to use an unscented soap, and you definitely need to use a soap that does not have tea tree oils in it. Tea tree oils are highly toxic to hedgehogs, and they're very curious animals. So if they lick your hands after you wash your hands with a soap with tea tree oil, they could get really sick and they could even die. So it's really important that when you wash your hands, you use a soap that does not have tea tree oil. The reason for unscented is because if it smells like a food that they like, they might bite you because they think it's food, not your hands. So first things first, always wash your hands before, and it's a good practice to wash your hands after. I've had Bert and my other hedgehog Gus for almost 4 years. Never gotten sick. Wash your hands. They're not dirty creatures. They just poop a lot and then they step in it. So you want to make sure you keep clean and you keep their feet clean too. So when you go to hold your hedgehog, he'll be running around and probably will be a lot smaller than Bert. Bert is a big boy. But when you go to hold your hedgehog, when it's 8 weeks old or however many grams it's supposed to be, it's really important that you scoop under the belly. So when you do this, you reach under their belly between their legs and you scoop them up. Okay, sometimes on Instagram and in videos you see people scruffing the hedgehog, which doesn't necessarily hurt the hedgehog, but if you do it wrong, it can seriously injure them. Usually the only people that we let scruff our hedgehogs are his vet. Only because the vet is trained to scruff a hedgehog, and like I said, it doesn't hurt, but if you scruff and you pull too much skin, basically you could pull their spinal cord, you could hurt their internal organs. So it's really important that you don't scruff. And so again, you just reach under the belly and scoop up like this, okay? And then once you're holding them, it's really easy. Most hedgehogs don't like being on their back. Bert doesn't mind it. So keep that in mind when you're handling the hedgehog. Scoop them, be gentle. It is an animal, it's fairly small. Do not drop them. If you drop them, they can get hurt really bad because they are little, but they are fun, right? Right, Birdie? Yeah. So that's number one. Be gentle, don't scruff, don't lift them up by their sides, okay? So don't reach under, because this whole section is a muscle that they use to curl up in case they're feeling uncomfortable or they need to defend themselves and curl up and stick all their quills out so that they don't get hurt by another animal or something else. So really make sure you scoop under. So if you see me, I'm doing this, I'm got both hands, I'm under. I'm not pulling the skin back around his little skirt, okay? Because that's a muscle and that can hurt him, because then if they try to curl up into a ball and you're not letting them, they can strain the muscle or get pretty hurt. So we don't want that either. We want our hedgehogs to be happy and fun. So that is holding hedgehogs. Always scoop from under, never scruff. And then with regard to being on their back, some like it, some don't. If your hedgehog is struggling and really hates it, you put them on their belly and they don't seem to mind. So that's holding your hedgehog. It's really important. So we'll go into our next thing, bonding. When you get a hedgehog, when they're a baby or if they are an adult and they came from a bad home, they're gonna be very huffy. Hedgehogs don't really they're pretty solitary animals. They're not very social. So you kind of have to teach them to be social. So it's really important that when you're a new hedgie parent or you're taking in a rescue. Bert was a rescue for us. Gus, his brother, was the actual hedgehog that we bought from a baby. So Bert took a little bit more care because he didn't come from the greatest situation. But bonding is crucial, especially if they're a baby. Hedgehogs, like I said, they're not social by nature, so you have to teach them to be social. So a lot of the times hedgehogs get really huffy if you're watching YouTube videos, or you watch YouTube videos, or you're looking on Instagram and you see them like always kind of, huffing and bumping their quills forward and a little bitey. It's because they don't generally like being held. They want to kind of do their own thing. So in order to socialize your hedgehog, especially a baby hedgehog, so you want to start these kind of habits young, is with bonding. And now some of the things that we've done, again, we're not experts, we've just done these, and we learned from our breeder some good habits, we think. So when you get a hedgehog, you need to be patient. A lot of people, when their hedgehog is getting huffy or bitey, they instantly put it away. This is what the hedgehog wants. So every time it goes, it hisses or tries to nip at you, and then you put it away, they're going to associate doing that with getting put away, which is what they want. So it's really important that you don't put them away. You need to be patient with them. If they're huffy or biting, they're just trying to get their way. So you need to keep holding them, and you need to keep showing them even more love. It's really, really crucial that you don't put them away when they're huffy. You need to hold them more. You need to hold them as much as possible, especially when they're young. With Gus and Bert, I hold them several hours a day. I'm lucky enough to be around a lot, so I can hold them a lot. But the more you hold them, the more comfortable they become with people and being held and enjoying being part of a family. Another thing that you can do to help speed up the bonding process is if you take probably a piece of clothing that you don't care about anymore, put it in your bed, sleep with it for a few days, and then put it into your hedgehog's cage. What this will do is your hedgehog's gonna start smelling you all the time. So it's going to associate you with your smell with being comfortable and home and being happy and warm, so that when you go to get your hedgehog and you start holding them and playing with them or her, they will be a lot more open to you because they know the smell, and they know that smell is a comfortable smell. So a lot of that huffy and biting will go away. It doesn't go away for that's what they do. They're animals. They get huffy. They will never go away completely, but it just means like, hey, maybe don't pet me right now, but I still want to be held. Another thing that's great is treats. So while you are sitting and holding your hedgehog and petting him and playing with him, having treats out so that he can snack on some treats, favorite food, mealworms, whatever it is, that will help a lot because it'll associate you and being held with food and treats. So he'll be more relaxed and more comfortable around you. And then another thing that we highly, highly, highly recommend for bonding specifically, because they do, they're quilly and you're going to get pricked and it's not going to be the most pleasant experience, but they don't mean it. But holding them like this with their quills out isn't super comfortable. So we highly recommend a lot of the breeders. You can go on Etsy. We get all ours from Cape Cod Hedgehogs on Etsy. We get Cuddle Sacks. So it's just a fleece lined sack. And then we put these in their cage too, so that they can sleep with them and be warm. But when you hold them, you just put them in the sack. And then when you're sitting and watching TV, you can put them in your lap. You can hold them in your arms. They can kind of get comfortable, dig around, have some fun. And it's a great way to bond where they're just comfortable with you. You're sitting watching TV, you're just holding them. They might come out, they're sniffing around. Bert likes to sniff around a little bit, have some fun. But these are great. Also, houses like this are awesome. So these, I don't know what you call them, cuddle cubes, whatever, cuddle pyramid. The lining comes out like this, so when you go to wash it, it's really easy to wash. But basically, your hedgehog, you can put some treats in, but sometimes instead of a bag, if you want something a little bigger, or if you're gonna kind of put them on the couch or put them on their pen, they can just go in there, dig around, and get comfy. Right, Bert? Yeah, Bert likes it. So that's bonding. It's basically just hold your hedgehog as much as possible and get them really comfortable with you and their smell. And be patient with them. Don't put them away when they start huffing at you or biting you. It's not, if you start putting them away when they get huffy and biting, they're never going to open up to you because they're always going to want to be by themselves. So they're always going to huff and bite, so you put them away. You need to break them of that habit so that they know they can huff and bite all they want. They're getting more hugs and more kisses. Okay? Go in the sleep sack, Bert. And then finally, so that's bonding, and we're just going to jump into quilling really briefly because it does play a role in bonding. If you get a new hedgehog, when they are little, probably around the 1 year mark, they go through a quilling, maybe even before that. They go through a quilling, which is almost like teething, like when babies' teeth, their teeth come through the gums. When hedgehogs quill, they're losing baby quills, so you start seeing lots of quills being lost, but you should see a lot of quills coming in. It's a really uncomfortable time. It hurts. Like they're getting needles shoved through their skin. It doesn't feel good. It's very uncomfortable. So they're going to be way more huffy, like huffier than ever. They're going to be bitey. They just want to be left alone because they're uncomfortable. You still need to bond with them. You still need to hold them. Do not put them away. Some things that you can do to help with the uncomfortability of quilling is with Bert, we use vitamin, and Gus too, we use vitamin E oil. You put a few drops on their skin and then you just use like a toothbrush or a soft brush to kind of just spread it around the skin. This is going to take care of any dry skin. It's also going to make it a little bit more comfortable for the hedgehog as they go through the quilling. And then the other thing that you can do is oatmeal baths. So oatmeal baths are really good for making the skin nice and soft and making the quilling go a little bit easier for them because it doesn't hurt their skin as much. But it's crucial, and I talk about quilling. There's way more stuff to talk about with quilling, but I talk about quilling in relation to bonding because if you've never owned a hedgehog before, your first instinct will be, oh, I'm going to punish it by putting it away. You're actually not punishing it. You're giving it exactly what it wants. So punishing a hedgehog that bites or huffs is holding it more and not putting it away. Now, if it's squirming and struggling, like if you're trying to hold it on its back, and well, Bert might not, yeah. So if it starts doing like this, so put it on its belly. That doesn't mean put it away. That means put him on his belly so he's comfortable, or put him in a sleep sack, and just have him sit with you. You can hold it like a baby, or put him in your lap, or do whatever. But just be gentle and give your hedgehog lots of love. So hopefully that is helpful. Another thing briefly, like we talked about the hand washing before and after holding a hedgehog. It's also really important that your shampoo, your body wash, your bar soaps, like tea tree oil should not be in the house. If you have those infusers that spray stuff all over the house, those have tea tree oil in it. And those can kill your hedgehog. And they're actually really bad for a lot of other animals like dogs and cats. So you might want to lay off those or get rid of them completely because you don't want to put any of your animals at risk, especially your cute new hedgehog that was just born into this world, not like Bert, who's almost 4. So just to recap, if you're holding, you scoop, not scruff, okay? Scoop, not scruff. Wash your hands before and after. Put them in a sleep sack and bond very often, like as much as possible. You need to hold them every single day. Even if it's only for like 10 minutes, every day, you or someone needs to hold them. Don't go a day or put them in the cage and neglect them, because then they're going to hate you and they will never open up. If you don't think you can hold your hedgehog every day, don't get a hedgehog. That's really it. If you can't take care of a hedgehog right, don't get a hedgehog, because they're not a hamster. They require a good amount of work. Like, they're really fun and rewarding pets, but if you get a hedgehog and you're not prepared, you're just doing the animal a disservice and you're setting them up for a really bad life, and that's really upsetting. So don't be that person. Do your research, like watching these videos, and be ready for your first hedgehog. We're going to be putting out other videos about bath time and maybe more stuff on quilling, what the setup should be like, heating requirements. Oh, the list goes on. There's so much stuff for hedgehogs, but they're worth it, right, Birdie? Birdie says we're worth it. All right, say bye, Birdie. Bye!